Okay, welcome to the Crow Discovery Project. And on the tail of the last clip, I just wanted to say I was aware that CERN was returned for actually many months, and I had made a note to look. I went back to look, but it was the only return that was coming back with my name until Houston Skywatch took it public, and so many of us started looking, and then the various results started to come in. But for me, the interesting thing is I think it's a clue when you look at this from a meme or memetics point of view. Basically what it tells me is that there's good reason to take a look at CERN with regard to the work that I've been doing, because clearly the algorithm thinks there is some connection between me and CERN, and I have never once even searched CERN. I have written about it, I believe, in one article and maybe mentioned it in one interview, but one of those was under Crow Triplehorn, so it's not even that heavily associated with YouTube. At any rate, this clip is going to be about the Apollo fraud. I am kind of getting tired of constantly being attacked for saying Apollo was a fraud. What this is going to do is throw down some science from a qualified man who has given us the tools that he used, which means it can go into any lab on Earth and be replicated, that proves, in fact, Apollo was a massive fraud. Here we go. So here we have the website, allis.com, and I will put the link down in the description of this video so people can check it out. Basically what this gentleman, Oleg Elinik, I believe it is, previously from the Department of Physics and Technology at Kharkov State University in the Ukraine, what he is doing here is using stereoscopic parallax to prove that the imagery that we have been handed from Apollo is fake. And this is not debatable, guys. It is what it is. And this can go into the bench in any laboratory and be replicated over and over and over. And so for those people that are stuck on science is the only thing that matters, well, this is science and it can be replicated. So what we're doing, what this site shows you is exactly how the parallax method works. He starts with a terrestrial version here. Explains it exactly what he's doing, but as you move on down, he shows you the formulas he's using. Then he gets into Apollo 15. He goes into great detail. He even points out that Apollo 15 had a new 500 millimeter lens, which provided all kinds of photographic opportunities that were not available to previous missions. He shows you who was in the Apollo crew, supposedly. Anyhow, when we come down here and start getting into it, this is the first series, and he even names the Apollo imagery that was faked and then passed off to the world as images that had been taken on the moon. Now, this is very interesting because what we see here, I think this is the one. We see that this is a GIF made on the right here showing the parallax of a couple of images, and over here is what he calls, I forget the word he's using, where is it? I'll find it in a second here. Anyhow, as he goes through, he makes conclusions. For this set of images, you can see that he is not just bagging on Apollo, he's giving them the benefit of the doubt. It is very probable that these images were taken on Earth in on a studio stage. But as we go down, the evidence mounts. There's the word. Subtraction of the two images. Sorry about that. That was an easy one to remember too. I think it's misspelled in a couple places. At any rate, when you look at what's going on here and read, let me find where he tells you. In one of these things, he's showing that the background behind the astronauts was supposedly something like 5 kilometers, when in fact it was a couple hundred yards, proving that in fact that they're on a soundstage. As you go through this, it mounts. Listen to the conclusion here. Mount Hadley moves and bows. The wrong initial assumption was probably made that this is a real lunar landscape. As this research demonstrates, this setting must be a totally artificial panorama, several tens of meters in depth with a mock Hadley in the background, moving horizontally and vertically to create an illusion of the remoteness of the perspective. This goes on and on and on. Here's the third series. The images are tagged. You can go through this with a fine-tooth comb. Here's another conclusion. These images were probably taken on Earth in a dome-shaped studio location where movable panorama backdrops were installed and even treated afterwards by further adjustment in the photographic lab. What this comes down to is people are waking up and they are sick and tired of the just global fraud that has been perpetrated on us by NASA. And I will say again, NASA's main mission is to ensure that you know nothing about space or whatever is above the blue sky we see. That's what their mission has always been, and that's what this is about. And to run that into my lunar research, as we move forward, more and more evidence is going to come up to prove that the moon that you have been told is a rock in orbit just is not. It just is not. And whether people choose to believe that or don't, it really doesn't matter. Whether I've been 100% correct in how I've described it, it doesn't matter. The truth is the truth, and whether it's recognized, defended, or lied about, the truth remains the truth. If I've made mistakes, it doesn't affect the truth one bit. Point is, this stuff is not going away. And for those of you who are continually defending a fraudulent organization that took Lord knows how many billions of dollars from American taxpayers and then perpetrated a fraud on the world that is so staggering to consider, you need to stop it. Look at this page. This is undeniable proof that the Apollo missions were frauds. So there it is. I mean, there's no other way to go at this. And at this point in time, there's no pussyfooting around anymore. It's time to call out fraud for what it is. We're moving into a new time here, and there needs to be some modicum of truth in our lives. And what you're seeing here is an absolute lie on a scale that's almost unimaginable. So there it is. Anyhow, cheers.